Mexican architect Luis Barragan, often referred to as the father of minimalism, believes that less is more. His understanding of architecture, similar to Adolf Loos's opinion that ornament is crime, explains why minimalism is often associated with simple geometries, bland materials, and dull colors. But how many rules can be broken for a building to still be considered minimalist? By emphasizing simplicity, using clean lines, and reducing elements to their most basic forms, Luis Barragan's architectural works and design concepts show a fundamental link to minimalism. However, his style greatly deviates from the usual constraints associated with minimalist design by including vibrant hues, regional inspirations, and emotional resonance, going beyond just the simple forms of minimalism. While Barragan's work is based in minimalism, to call him a minimalistic architect would neglect the true intention of his works, combining minimalist forms with maximalist color design.
His architectural practice was based in Guadalajara from 1927 until 1936 when he moved to Mexico City, and remained until his death. His work has been called minimalist, but it is nonetheless sumptuous in color and texture. Barragan called himself a landscape architect, writing in the book Contemporary Architects, Muriel Emanuel, published by St. Martin's Press in 1980. He wrote, "I believe that architects should design gardens to be used as much as the houses they build, to develop a sense of beauty and the taste and inclination toward the fine arts and other spiritual values. And further, any work of architecture which does not express serenity is a mistake." A religious man, Barragan and his work have been described as mystical as well as serene. His chapel for the Capuchinas Sacramentarias is evidence of both qualities. Because of his interest in horses, he designed many stables, fountains, and water troughs that manifest many of these same qualities. Further, he called it alarming that publications devoted to architecture seem to have banished the words beauty, inspiration, magic, spellbound, enchantment, as well as the concepts of serenity, silence, intimacy, and amazement. He apologized for perhaps not having done these concepts complete justice, but said they had never ceased to be my guiding lights. As he closed his remarks, he spoke of the art of seeing. It is essential to an architect to know how to see in such a way that vision is not overpowered by rational analysis. Barragan sought to convey his work in a non-aggressive manner, stating, "Any work of architecture which does not express serenity is a mistake." He conveyed this idea through a minimalistic approach, helping him to center his work's focus around different sacred beliefs. Like Tadao Ando, he portrayed religious spirituality and mythical roots in his work. Barragan's work shows the importance of emotional architecture in a world full of buildings that merely serve as machines for living. In other words, he is a modernist who diverges from modernist treatises, despite attending Le Corbusier's lectures. There are many concepts that are at the core of Barragan's architecture. One of these notions was the understanding of working with natural light and shadow to evoke emotions and experiences through his works. He applied this concept with the purpose of enhancing in a mystical approach the atmosphere of his built environments, allowing people to encounter a moment of introspection within the serenity that his buildings convey. A clear example is one of his most recognized pieces of work, titled House for Luis Barragan, built in Tacubaya, Mexico City in 1947. Inside this residence, he experimented with double-height walls in the living room, incorporating partial walls that do not extend to the ceiling. This design allowed natural light to pass through the main window and interact with the various walls, creating different spaces with diverse light intensities. This strategy produced an interesting relationship between light and shadow, as areas where light prevails are contrasted with regions of intense shadowing. Moreover, Barragan sought to integrate the natural world into his designs with the aim of establishing a strong connection between the built environment, nature, and spirituality. In House for Luis Barragan, he exemplified this by strategically placing a large window at the end of the living room, seamlessly merging the indoors and outdoors. This combination of man-made and nature aligned with his focus on creating private and intimate spaces for reflection. While he criticized the excessive use of large glass windows for privacy, he ensured a framed connection with nature in his designs. In relation to his theme of anti-humanism, Barragan uses pre-industrial materials like adobe and wood timber to make colors pop and give extra depth to the work. This goes hand in hand with the ideology of merging nature and the built environment, since he maintains the materials being used in their near-natural state. One of his non-minimalist, non-modern inspirations is Ferdinand Bach, a French cartoonist and artist that uses vibrant colors in his works. He is also inspired by the colors of Europe, Morocco, and his own Mexico. As a result, regionalism plays an important role in his creations, since he drew inspiration from local culture and architecture, resulting in a blend of traditional Mexican design and modernism. Cuadra San Cristóbal Los Clubes, located in Atizapán de Zaragoza, Mexico, and built between 1966 and 1968 by Luis Barragan, is a perfect illustration of his philosophy of incorporating Mexican design and culture into his work. This compound features large walls painted in purple, pink, and orange, creating a variety of spaces within the built environment. Lastly, for the Mexican architect, paint is a wall ornament that helps enclose surroundings within his designs. He mentions that playing with color, he allows many emotions to unfold inside his creations because as the seasons change, so does the behavior of color on the walls. He sees paint on walls as something that can be affected by nature itself and possesses its own conscience, just like a human, a breathing organism. However, color is not the only way in which he represents his cultural roots. In House for Luis Barragan, he uses culturally significant artifacts to incorporate Mexican traditions into his works, whereas in Cuadra San Cristóbal Los Clubes, he does this through the use of color. He aims to provoke an emotional effect by using vivid colors, causing intrigue for what his designs intend to portray. Barragan manages to make this possible without adding any more features onto the walls, only the paint, which correlates to his minimalist approach towards architecture. Barragan has always endeavored to create an architectural language which would express man's eternal longings in the context of modern Mexico's natural and cultural conditions. Shunning the use of familiar Mexican forms, the character of his architecture results from its continuity with Mexico's splendid architectural traditions.
Luis Ramiro Barragan Morfin was born in 1902 in Guadalajara, Mexico, where he began his architectural career using vibrant colors and the surrounding culture as inspiration. Barragan started his architectural journey by designing private homes in Guadalajara despite having very limited resources due to his location. His early works were not all right angles and were often decorated with plants and more ornate lighting. Some of his earlier works include Casa Cristo and Casa Inesto Calvejero, which demonstrated and hinted at his unique style.
Barragan has a very significant work style. When comparing his work, you can see a clear pattern. Barragan called himself a landscape architect. A landscape architect designs places like public parks, gardens, playgrounds, residential areas, college campuses, and public spaces. Although Barragan used color in almost every project, he was still known as a master modernist. Barragan was an ardent advocate of modernism, embracing its tenets of simplicity, functionality, and rejection of ornamentation. His choice of color often came from Mexican traditions, drawing from the vibrant hues found in traditional Mexican architecture, textiles, and landscapes. He meticulously selected and combined colors to create atmospheres that range from serene and contemplative to lively and joyful. Barragan's work continues to inspire contemporary architects. Casa Luis Barragan. The house was built in 1948. It is located in the west of Mexico City. The architect lived there for the rest of his life. According to Wikipedia, in 2004, it was named the World Heritage Site by UNESCO because it is one of the most influential and representative examples of modern Mexican architecture. I'm so proud of it, and I definitely agree that it is very influential. Rough cement walls that are very similar in the color and composition to the neighborhood. The facades of the house align with the street and are very simple. The qualities of his architecture are expressed in the interior, including the garden space. There are 2 floors, a roof terrace, and a private garden. The house represents an integration of modern and traditional architectural styles.
His work is sumptuous in color and texture, suggesting a departure from strict minimalism. The debate hinges on the interpretation of minimalism. Emilio Ambaz from the MoMA catalog argues that Barragan's work transcends traditional minimalism, embracing a unique blend that marries simplicity with emotional richness. In essence, whether Luis Barragan being classified strictly as a minimalist is subjective. His architectural legacy embodies a nuanced combination of minimalist elements and a distinctive emotional richness.